Oh, what a play from Isaac!
But that does require the Storm to start winning the game, but Bravo hitting an absolutely disgusting angle. This is Bravo the shooter, apparently. This is Bravo series, because this man has scored 5 goals.
Unvoice trying his best to get a half of the goals in the series. Oh, God! Stop it!
Till the sun goes out, maybe it's low.
Hello and welcome back to the RLPC desk. We got the last 2 drafts up on the board for you today. We're going to take a look at Independent first and then head over to the big one, the P4 draft, the one everybody has been waiting for. I am Cubix. Alongside me over there is Flip, GM of the Bullsorg, going to be joining me on the desk for the entirety of tonight, which is going to be fun considering I'm also in Bullsorg this season. So you'll get to hear a little bit of our thought processes behind some of the picks as we go through the night, but going to be a very exciting day. One a lot of players in this league, Flip, have been looking forward to, and we're finally getting to it today.
Yeah, I mean, this has been, a good time coming for a good amount of these guys, and Independent going to kick us off here. And honestly, Cubix, there weren't that many draftees for Independent, but we had a very big surge of them in the later ends of the offseason. So now we have a good amount of Independent picks, and honestly, the draft's going to be pretty interesting. I know I have a player in mind that I want, so hopefully he doesn't get sniped before my pick.
All right, well, we will have to see. Things are going to get going very momentarily here, seeing as it is already after the prescribed 8 o'clock. Turn audio up. Thank you, Mike. Actually, audio should be at decent levels. I think my mic is just low, actually, is the problem. Yep, that's way too low. Okay, there we go. Now people can hear me.
Are you here? Are you here with us, Cubix?
I am. I think I have you a little bit too loud here. All right, figuring things out. We got a new kind of setup for this season in terms of how I'm setting up my personal audio stuff, so that's why there's some confusion. Anyway, let's take a look at the draft board here for the season. First overall pick, the Beavers, followed up by Grizzlies. And the Galaxy then have a couple in a row right after that. Your Independent team, Rhinos, picking at number 9 today on the Indy draft. So we'll see if whoever you want is going to fall down that far. I'm actually going to make sure that I have the draft board pulled up in the background here real quick.
Yeah, because we already got picks coming in, Cubix.
Oh my goodness gracious. Things are happening already. The first overall pick is in Beavers, selecting Ryan and Gav. 1275 MMR for Independent. Now, with, as you said, Independent, a lot of very late draftees, so this could be a very interesting draft. And one off the bat that a lot of people were discounting because of the low numbers in the draft pool. But now that there's a lot more talent coming in the Independent League, especially after that MMR shift, the draft becomes all that more important because that many more players who are going to be in Independent this season are going to be coming through the draft. Number 2 overall, going to the Grizzlies. Kill. Personally, somebody that I've actually been playing with quite a bit recently. We were chatting with him earlier, and he's going to go second overall to the Grizzlies. A very talented player in his own right, and we'll see how he fares on the Grizzlies. So far, Flip, do you have any thoughts on these first couple picks?
You know, Rye and Gav, I've seen it a couple times, but really very unknown, honestly. I've seen him in another league, but very little of him. However, Kill, a good amount of action from Kill, to be honest. He has been super active lately, like you said, but also I know he has enough ego to challenge me to a 1v1. So I have dodged it every single time. So I don't know how good he actually is, but he has the confidence, and that's important.
Confidence always key here. Galaxy gonna get the next 2 picks in a row here. Going to quickly. Oh, I can't sort it by league. That's unfortunate. But the 3rd pick is in here. DCT GTI. I'm not exactly sure how that's supposed to be pronounced. 1330 MMR, right at the top of Independent. I believe the cutoff for Independent is 1333 or something. 1332, 36.
30.
I was close. I was close.
Yeah.
But right at that cap. So an important pick there. We'll see who the Galaxy are going to go with at number 4. I'm not 100% familiar with what teams already have which players at the moment. I think there's a way to see that though in here, is there?
No, yeah. I mean, you can go to teams and just look at like who has, you know, what rosters have been built so far. But honestly, Independent, unless I'm forgetting a couple teams, there has only been like one like built team to my knowledge. Like completely built, like full 3 teams. I know a couple players are only missing a couple teams are only missing like 1 player, but honestly, I feel like after this draft, then you're gonna see all the teams that really have like full built out rosters and who's really looking the best. Because I mean, Galaxy, they have 2 picks in the top 5. Then Cyclones have 2 picks coming up too, Cubics. So a lot of draft picks are gonna be made, and honestly, the draft for Independent can be very important. And there's still, I mean, a good like 15, 20 players left in the draft.
Yeah, we'll definitely get an entire first round here. 2 cans now on the clock as Galaxy select Miso at number 4. Also right at cap, 1329 is his MMR, literally 1 lower than DCT. And that's going to be a very interesting duo, and it'll be interesting to see what pick coming at number 20, which is the Galaxy's next pick, is going to round out this squad, as these are the only 2 players currently on the roster. Also, the new rule coming in as well. A lot of people figured that this was the case, but it's officially in the rule book now that if you only have 3 players on the roster, you have to leave enough cap space to sign a minimum MMR player. So in the case of Independent, you have to leave at least 1,000 MMR in cap space so that you, in theory, could sign a min MMR player. So picking 2 guys right up at the top, it'll be interesting to see if the Galaxy goes with a 3-man roster this season. Those always a little risky, because if you're missing somebody, then you don't have a backup in case of that. But Flip, do you think that they would go with a 3-man roster with the 20th overall pick, or do you think they're going to look to round out their squad with a free agent or something of the sort?
Well, the thing is like you get 3 really, you know, strong players in Galaxy, and you know you kind of just bank on the fact that they're all going to be good. But these guys are all draftees. You don't know how consistent they're going to be showing up, and so that's a risk that I think Vigil might take, because Vigil's that kind of guy. He takes risks like that, and it might work out for him. So these 2 players, I want to say, DGT and Miso, they're 2 super high MR players, and if they're able to show up in good comms and good vibes, and the team vibes well, Cubics, then, you know, only having one other teammate might be the play, and that other guy might stick. But sometimes that's just too risky for me personally. Like, I could not do that. I want a 4th that I know is going to show up as well. Having that security blanket for like an emergency is just so important. So we're going to see if what their draft strategy is later on. But right now, I would assume they're gonna go for like maybe a high 1100. to fill out their roster.
We will see in a few moments here. The Toucans are out of time, but they have now selected Sosa at number 5, coming in at 13:37. So a lot of these high MMR players being taken off the board quite early here. The draft, excuse me, for Independent, I don't think has a lot of high players left. All the highest player left is Deadly at 1312. So a lot of these really high rated MMR players are actually going up at the top. And I did, with the major draft yesterday, we had a bit of a discussion on here about just how these teams are trying to build their rosters and how sometimes they're
sorry, what'd you say?
And how sometimes there are players that you want at a lower MMR because they are like more valuable based on the contract. They're outperforming the contract that they're on, but it seems like a lot of these players up at the top are legitimately the best players in the league, which realistically should be how it should be.
It is what it is. Yeah, Deadly, you're getting picked as well. You know that the Cyclones go back to back. They knew who they wanted, Sydney and Deadly. Sydney was a 1230, and then Deadly, obviously the 1312. There's only one 1300 left on the board, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right, yes.
Okay, yeah, only one 1300 left on the board, and if the Thrashers don't take him, man, well, he's coming to the Rhinos, so please don't take him, Hydra. That'd be very nice. Please don't be watching the stream either. That'd be even better.
Well, I mean, there are actually two players quite high up here. Pre-Malone, that last 1300, 1302, but right below him, Awesome Avocado is at 1229 or 1299, excuse me. So
yeah,
very like just barely under 1300. So definitely
the 3 matters.
Same level. So
the 3 matters.
He's stuck at the barrier. I'm sure he's just as annoyed about that as you are at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he didn't get him. Spoiler alert. Oh, he drafted this guy right here. I don't know who this is. Veltarian.
Going to the Thrashers at number 8 here. Obviously, you are on the clock. I'll take over while you finish that up. So my camera's offset. I don't know why my camera's off.
Mike, he made the pick. Can you hurry up, button? Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, it's a solid pick. I mean, Cubics, I can talk. I know who I want. It's okay. I don't even hear you anymore. So, hopefully you're talking.
I'm not talking.
Okay. I mean, I'm glad you're here. All right. Well, I'm gonna be picking a great name. I mean, I like drafting based on like quality names. Pre-Malone's a solid name. You know, like it's a bit of a meme. Like Pre-Malone, Post Malone, like obviously it's a parody. If I wanted to change my name to that in RLPC, it wouldn't get accepted because it'd be a famous person. But hey, we're selecting the 1302 Pre-Malone. All right, and we're gonna vibe. My team, that's all we're going for in the Bulls or Cubics. We're going for the vibes.
Oh, absolutely. We'll get to that a lot more during the P4 draft because that's something that's very big on my list for the draft. You know what? You made your first selection here. Wow, that was fast. Sockeyes in with Awesome Avocado,
very
the last
fast.
1300 level player at that 1299. Below that, a bit of a gap. I believe 1271. The next player has the high player. So yeah. Pre-Malone, though, going to round out your roster, which I believe during this week you found out was not set in stone based on one of your players having to go non-playing because of some technical problems. So how has that kind of pivot been the last few days for you?
So the thing was, like, that team was the Indy team from last season for my org. And so I was like, hey, y'all boys can run it back. Because they were still under contract with me. I was like, y'all got it. I wasn't even going to worry about them. I said, they have a full team. They're ready. They're cooking. And then 2 days ago, he goes, sorry, guys, my PC died. And so he cannot play this season. And, it's obviously very sad. You hate to see it. But you know what? We make adjustments on the fly. I kept this pick for a reason. And so here we are, and we're making use of it.
There you go. And you got your guy. You got the guy that you wanted.
I got a guy.
You got
Yeah.
a guy who is very high MMR too. So
Very talented.
You'll take that.
Oh yeah. I hope you did not pick.
Wolves pick still on the clock. 36 seconds to go here.
Chop
at
chop.
the number 11 slot. At this point in time, Matchless is the top independent prospect at 1271. Oli Chu at 1270, Sully at 1261, and NZWRT at 1259.
I mean, you called his name. Matt, you said Matt. There he is.
Coming out at number 11. Going to the Wolves here. Looking through who is left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, there's a lot left.
We got
19,
time.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24 draftees left from all over the board. So we've still got a ways to go.
Oh
as, Oli Chu going to be taken off the board. A lot of these high MMR players going right off the bat. And I think a lot of that, as you mentioned off the top, we had a huge influx of players right before the draft, especially in the independent MMR range, which is why we had to drop the threshold by like 30 MMR for A-League. And I think that could be part of the reason we're seeing a lot of high MMR players get taken, because people are just kind of assuming that they're the top of the class. But then you're also seeing some slightly off the board picks, like Veltarian go to the Thrashers, 1230 Cindy going to the Cyclones, for example. Right off the top, Beaver selecting 1275 Ryan Gav with the number 1 pick. So you're seeing a little bit of some of these off the board picks in terms of trying to get some value here nice and early. So we'll see exactly how these picks will fit into their squads.
Yeah, and I think that's because some of these teams, like the Beavers, for example, they already have 2 players, and so they're just trying to find that good solid third. And if they have their guy, they have their guy. And so I feel like whenever you already have a strong team, you're able to make picks that kind of just help your team. Like you don't need to just build a team from scratch like somebody like the Galaxy who just picked 2 1330s immediately. Like those guys, they're like, hey, we need talent, and they got talent. These guys, hey, we need a role player, and so they're getting role players. The draft strategy for all these teams very different overall. So we're seeing another pick come through here, and I mean the Wizards. This is their first time up here as well. Another player. I mean, I wish I could speak more onto the talent of some of these players, but this season, Cubics, I think I didn't hold a single tryout, so I have no idea about any of these independent players.
Yeah, I mean, you thought you were set until about 4 days ago, so fair enough. NZWRT going here. I wish I knew how to pronounce that better, because I'm sure there's some sort of pronunciation from it. But Wizards are going to get their guy here. Gonna pull up their roster to see who is there. I am so sorry. For those who were on stream yesterday, I did mention that I have a lingering cough from a freaking head cold that I had like a week and a half ago and still isn't gone. So I apologize for the coughing throughout the stream, but that's just going to happen. So the Wizards rounding out all 4 of their roster with that pick. NZWRT coming on and going to be playing with Bin Boys, Sandsbar, and Krasny this season, as the Scorpions select Wolf at 1114 MMR. That's a lower MMR pick. So we'll see if that is going to... It's a little bit off the board.
Yeah,
could be a good thing.
They only have 1117 in cap space, so they did well, in my opinion, getting a solid, getting a sub that was, available in their range. Their team, I'm not gonna lie, their team's kind of scary. Allen, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Allen, I know. Okay, Lowell and King Icy. This is all like their second season on their contracts, so they're all cheaper as well. So it's a very, very strong roster for the Scorpions. So I think that's going to be a team to look out for, in my opinion. Very, very good But now the Centurions, they select Key, who might be a key part to this roster, Cubics.
Oh, he's so funny.
I'm so good.
Centurions, the current roster, Battle Sheep and Ahmed. Ahmed, of course, part of the Centurions championship winning squad from last year. Did not get promoted up to A. I believe Cognition did. I don't know if KSU Wildcats did, but he is not on this squad anymore. Instead, Battle Sheep is here. 2,600 cap space left for them with this pick. And they get Key first, and we'll see if they are going to be able to get another very good player in just a couple of picks, as they have the 18th pick here. But the Yellow Jackets are on the clock to make their pick to round out our first round here. It will be Louis going to the Yellow Jackets. Admirals now on the clock as our first round comes to a close. You can see the draft history on your screen, Flip. What do you think is a pick that stands out to you so far?
The biggest standout pick, in my opinion, it's got to be Kill. Kill's the player I know the most. But that man, I'm pretty sure he's like really good at ones. So he's definitely gonna be very scary. Other than that, though, a couple interesting picks like Thrasher's taking Volteron, who's 1134 with the 8th overall pick. I feel like they could have like traded back maybe, but other than that, it was super high level guys, like all across the board. And honestly, kind of curious how these teams are going to form, because Cubics, we're not even into the season yet, so we can only speculate. But I feel like this Indy season might be, there's a lot of 1300s, so I think it's going to be very, very fun.
Yeah, that's very interesting as well. Thrasher's getting a man right on the top of the cap at Mr. Soul Bob, 1336, and Ocho, their current team coming into the draft. They had quite a bit of cap space to work with, almost 2,500 MMR, and decided to go with that 1134 right off the top. So that is a very interesting pick, to say the least. We'll see who they are going to take. They have pick number 26, as you'll be able to see. And so we will see who they take here. Couple of picks coming in quick succession here to start off our second round. On fire, going to the Admirals, 1192, and a budget pick for the Centurions, ITR, coming in at 1103 to round out the Centurions roster. I'm sure that with the MMR on that, a player that they wanted to complete their squad, as they had ample cap space to take, I believe, a 1200 still to fill out their roster, but going with a player that they believe in ITR. So another interesting pick coming off the board there as the player base begins to dwindle in Independent. The highest player remaining at the moment is Sully at 1261, but at this point in the draft, teams will start to be running out of cap space, so we'll see exactly who people are going to take. On the clock right now, Scorpions looking to round out their roster. To go back just a little bit here, the Yellow Jackets, I wanted to touch on them. They got JJ Speed and Taco on their roster, both above 1300 at the moment, and selected Louis at 1250 with the 16th overall pick. They have number 21 as well, and with 1253 coming off of their cap, they still have enough space for a 1300. Obviously, there's not any draftees of that level left, though, so I wonder what kind of player they'd be eyeing with their next pick. Before I let you answer that question, Scorpion's going to select Jasper, 1034 with their 19th overall selection.
The lowest, that's a strat. You can the lowest MMR you possibly can for a sub, But yeah, Yellow Jackets, they have plenty of room, but you don't need to use all your cap space. I feel like that's, especially in Independent where the range is so wide, you don't need to use all the cap space, because yes, MMR can dictate skill, but sometimes it really doesn't. Sometimes people get boosted. Sometimes, you got a super mechanical or super solid third man that's a little bit lower MMR than some other players. And so if you can pick who you want and you get guys that you like, that's all that matters. You get a solid team. The numbers are just for the paper. Like, you got to go on that field and play. And these guys, you got to pick players that you think will go out there and play for you. I mean, in my case, I got a guy that I think has a cool name, and that's the only reason I got him. So these GMs are probably doing a lot better than me in this draft right now, Cubics. And so I trust that the Yellow Jackets have a little bit more of a plan, at least than me, going into this.
I'm sure Pre Malone, who went to the Rhinos number 29, is going to do just fine for us this season here. The Galaxy still in the clock, looking to round out their team. Selected DCT and Mizo with the 3rd and 4th picks, respectively. And we'll be looking to make a fully draft team. I also noticed, Flip, that you also have the 24th pick. Are you planning to take a player with that pick to round out your squad of 4? Oh, my goodness. 2 picks coming in quick there.
Yeah, I was a little behind on getting these picks in. That's on me. I was busy talking, but these guys, you saw 2 picks, 3 picks. Oh my, raid picking as well. Let's go through these players just real quick. Elite, very elite player. No idea who he is, but W name. I know so many players with the name Elite. So 1254 MMR. I'm pretty sure he was the highest besides Sully. So very solid pick there from raid. Hibiscus. I don't know. I don't know Hibiscus. However, I do know 123 Ethan, and he's very solid, but very sub. So,
yeah, gonna be playing on a Wildcats team also that I'm pretty sure had their roster filled out going into the draft. Gonna double check that, but an organization with a very strong independent A level player base that is kind of loyal to that Panthers organization. So their team coming into the draft is made up of Little Bacon, Ezio, and Grandly. Had 1078 left to take a player, and they got one at 1060 coming in right under that level. So needing a sub MMR player, and they're going to get it with that pick. The Yellow Jackets, with that prior pick, I just realized I'd been reading the website wrong the whole time. That's wonderful. With Louis' pick, they didn't have too much space left, but Hibiscus did fit into that MMR that they needed, and so a solid sub MMR player as well going their way. The Admirals, a team that we actually haven't looked at yet, is now on the clock at number 23. Their team is currently made up of a full roster, so this will most likely be skipped, actually. Kenga, Rhino, Outlaw K3, and Legend MC, who is the GM of the organization, which is Pirates, I want to say.
It's Pirates. You're correct.
Nice. Because that makes sense. So they have about 300 MMR cap space left on that squad, but they are solidified for the season pending any trades. So they are going to select Rad Raichu with the 23rd overall pick, because there's no reason not to go over your 4 players for the season. But their roster was full heading into the night. We'll see if that actual roster of 4 going into the season is going to change. That also something I neglected to mention yesterday in the major draft, because it didn't really matter, but teams at this point in time are allowed to go over 4 players on any one of their rosters. The preseason acts as like a vetting process for those players that you've drafted. You just have to have whittled your roster down to 4 players by the end of preseason. So Rhinos going with Scalf Crew. Wow, that really messed with my brain for a second. 1069 substitute MMR player, but a player to fill out the Rhinos roster nonetheless. I would ask for your rationale, but I don't know if you really have any.
I do have rationale for this one. Okay, so this one, I needed a player that was kind of cheap, and he was the cheapest player available, and boom, that's my rationale. I'm putting so much thought into these right now, Cubics. But no, actually, though, I have 2 very solid players in Sensory and Poppet. Pre Malone, he's going to hopefully be the starter. And then this guy, hopefully going to be that solid sub that can fill in. That's, kind of just how I have to do my team. I have 2 really solid players, but these 2 last draft picks, to be honest, it could have been anybody. But this guy kind of just fit the MMR, and so that's all I needed.
There you go. There's your explanation. Thrashers on the clock after the Wizards at number 25 taking Erase at 1164. So bumping up a little bit here from a long list of substitute MMR players in the last few picks ever since Elite was selected by Galaxy, and basically the entirety of this second round, all substitute MMR players except for Elite and on Fire. But Wizards breaking that here and possibly getting a third member in Erase for their squad.
There he goes.
Thrashers now back on the clock, and we are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Very
7,
few.
8, 9 independent players remaining. So as Thrashers take Sully there, so there was 10 up until then. So Sully finally going to the Thrashers here, and now 9 players left. So Scorpions at 27. The Wizards then have 2 picks: Grizzlies, Dragons, Beavers, Cyclones, and Grizzlies at 35 should end us off, I believe.
Yeah, but you know, Cubics, we might start getting some skips. I'm not gonna lie.
We might. Teams at this point may be set on the rosters that they're looking for. So Scorpions are going to take Goob, 1119 MMR with their 27th overall pick. A very good point that teams at this point may have filled out their rosters to an adequate point for them and may choose to skip picks in the coming few rounds instead of selecting players over their 4 player roster cap. We may see teams start to skip picks as they no longer need players for their roster. There are also a lot more players in each league by a good amount this season than actual roster spots. So there will be in the range of 7 to 10 free agents all season long. So some of these teams will end up having 5 or 6 players on their roster and having to whittle that down over preseason. That's just a strategy that some GMs take when, in say your case, Flip, when they haven't actually done tryouts, or because they thought they had a roster, or just if they want to try out a few more players, get to know their chemistry a little bit more, but have some security in case they want to keep them. So we will see if teams continue to build on their rosters here. Wizards are going to do just that with DA. Whoops. Sorry, microphone. Wizards are going to select DA Rothier with their 28th overall pick, 1150 MMR. They are on the clock here and technically have the 36th pick. So if one team skips their pick, they will have another one later on. But I believe they also already have, with the pick of DA Rothier, or Rother, sorry. That is, I believe, their 5th player on the Wizards roster right now. So they may actually skip their 29th pick as well.
You would think, but you know, Phantom goes into the draft chat and he says, "Who's the highest MMR player that's left? That's who we choose." So you know what? That's who he chooses.
And he does just that. 29th overall, Josh the Handyman, 1236 MMR coming off the board here. One of the higher MMR players left. I think at the time was the highest MMR player remaining. Now that title will fall to Sticky Berry at 1187. So no 1200 players left on the board.
All of them.
All of them a little bit lower. Grizzlies now on the clock, followed up by Dragons, 2 Beavers picks, Cyclones, and then Grizzlies once again, and that should round out things here in the independent draft. Slight note, we will take about a 5-minute break after the independent draft before getting into the P4 draft, which will be drafting for all of AAA, AA, and single A, so a lot more strategy going to be coming into that one. So going to be very exciting. A lot more players going to need to be picked, so we will have at least 4 rounds of picks coming up after the break, instead of just this 1.5 or 2 and a bit that we are going to end up getting here in the independent draft. But a solid crop of prospects here. 35, I believe. A lot more than we were expecting a little while ago, but has since filled out the draft board, and a lot of players ending up being taken here. In the draft, the Grizzlies now with 15 seconds to get their pick in. Not a whole lot of players left, but at this point, when you've drafted so many players tonight or have a roster, you might want to chat with them a little bit about exactly who they want. So we will see.
Oh, did somebody make a pick? Oh, they did. Wait, never mind. Yeah. That's funny. All right. Well, you know, the Grizzlies, they have elected to skip their pick, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, they tried to draft a Beavers frog, and well, in the name, he's already on the Beavers, so they're gonna be skipping on the draft, and because that might be one team of many that, you know, opt out.
I feel very bad for Frog because he ended up being the like meme pick of his draft and has since become one of the like most notable community members of RLPC, and still gets memed on for how he how he was drafted last year. Because he was the lowest MMR player in Independent in his year last year. So, very, very funny. But, yes, we might end up getting a interview with Blood Hydro here.
Oh?
The general manager of the Thrashers, to explain their first round pick of Valterion, or at least a text comment on it in just a moment. So as you said, Grizzlies going to skip their 30th overall pick. The Dragons selecting Blue GTI at 1100 MMR. Beavers now on the clock. They have a couple of picks in a row. The Wizards at number 36 are going to come back on the board. And then after that, if we get a couple of skip picks, Cyclones are going to be back up. They have the 34th pick, but also have 37 and 38. So that is probably where we will end it.
You're underestimating how many of these gyms are going to dip out. I feel like there's going to be a good amount of
That's true. That is true. All right, I am going to bring in Hydro and... actually, I don't think he had. Does he? Does he have privileges to come into chat?
Oh, I mean, he's in a chat. You want to move him in here, Cubics?
Yeah, go ahead. You can introduce him too.
Well, Hydro, the GM of the Eagles and also the Thrashers, with they had the 8th overall pick, and Hydro, you know. You're a pretty smart guy, so why the heck did you draft?
I mean, it really just came down to who we had. We kind of knew what style we wanted, and honestly, Velves plays well above his MMR, in my opinion, and his style fits exactly what we need. And kinda all I can say at the moment, but can you drag Evo in here too?
Oh, which Evo you want? Which Evo
Skyline, my AGM.
You know, only because I like him, and that's my home.
We both know he's the GOAT, so.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, you know, speaking of the GOAT, Evo, 2-time champion in RLPC. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys?
I mean, apparently you had something to say to us. I don't know. I dragged you in here for a reason. I don't know what that reason was.
Listen, I will take part of the idea to go for Vel here. I'm hoping that he kind of does what I did, and like just kind of develops quick, and just is that spark that we need. Because he was one of our more consistent people whenever we got the tryouts going. So I mean, I have full faith in it. I trust Soul Bob, and we'll go from there, you know?
We're trusting the process. We're going to put him through a little training camp, a little boot camp.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for me. Maybe it'll work.
Excuse me. You're going to fly him out? You're going to, you know, What kind of coaching y'all got over there? Is Jeffrey gonna give them the rundown, or
We're
what's
gonna have
happening?
Jeffrey. We're gonna have
honest-
Squishy. Like we're going all in.
Actually, Flip, can you coach for us?
If you want to have some of the worst independent players you will ever see, I'd be glad to coach your independent team. There's a reason I don't talk to them. I have a major AGM that does nothing, but I said that they'll coach them, or I said that he will coach them. He probably won't though.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's kind of our thoughts on it, and we think he's going to grow and be a great player.
I mean, like predictions for how this draft is going. Like based on how this draft has gone, who do you think is like the best, other than your team, the best team out there right now in independent?
Let me pull up sheets real quick, and I'll give you that.
I'll give you 30 seconds.
I'm gonna go ahead and put my vote in as someone who's played, met this player before. I've played with him before. I can't remember the team that got him, but Ryan Gav.
You went first overall to the Beavers, yeah.
Yes. So that man is a very skilled player. He knows what he's doing. So any team he goes to is going to be a very, very dangerous team.
So good. What you're saying? Keep an eye on the Beavers this season. By the way, who
100%.
Who also made a couple of picks. I got to come in here because we got 4 picks while you guys have been talking. Only one player left as well for the draft. Beavers at 32 selecting the Sticky Berry, and at 33 selecting Fingers. Cyclones selecting Cuff at 34, and number 35 East Coast Killa to the Grizzlies. Wizards are on the clock, whether they will take the last player in the draft or not.
You should refresh that page for me, Cubics, if you don't mind. Please and thank you. I might have done goofed just a little bit.
So,
so yeah,
team sheets are not updated yet. So
no, they're not. So I was hoping you paid a little bit of attention, but that's okay. If you got nothing else to say, it's say your goodbyes and get out of here. I'm just kidding. I'm glad you guys, at least y'all had a plan going into this. I mean, I was flying by the seat of my pants. I'm not gonna lie. So it's gonna be an interesting season for the Bulls. But I'm saying any GM out there, you guys have a worse record than me. You guys are doing something terribly, terribly wrong, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. Cubics. If you refresh it.
It is.
We'll get it.
It has been refreshed.
All right.
But I will say, Kill and Ryan Gav are both the
1 and 2.
They're both going to be the big, the big people in this league, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If they don't perform, I'll be very surprised.
Yep. So, I think the Rhinos are going to win it all, but that's maybe a little bit of bias. So
maybe a little bit.
Hey,
that's
I like the confidence.
That's all. Yeah, no, I have faith in my boys.
I will say I'm interested in the Vigils team. The
the two the
Galaxy?
Galaxy. The Miso.
Yeah.
It was
I feel like
Miso
he's
and
got something up.
Miso, DCT, GTI were the 4th and 3rd picks respectively, and then Elite taken at number 20 is their roster at the moment.
All right, Cubics.
So
it is done.
Oh, we are done. There we go. The update that we had on the back end of the board, because the page currently won't update, you can't see it here, was that the Grizzlies at 35 actually skipped their pick, so East Coast Killa going to the Wizards at 36. Cyclones taking Mansion as the last pick in the draft at number 37. So that'll round out things for today. Actually, Cyclones is one team that I want to touch on quickly before we head to break. They had the 6 and 7 picks, taking Cindy and Deadly. They also ended up getting later on in the draft here Cuff and Manchan at the end of the draft as well. So that could be a very interesting roster. Cindy and Deadly, as you can see on your screen right there. Both good players. I know you wanted Cindy specifically for the Rhinos team as well. Didn't end up falling to you, but that could also be a very deadly duo. So those going to be the big 3 teams to watch out for here. According to Flip and
Company,
Blood Hydro, Galaxy, Beavers, and for me, Cyclones as well. Going to be teams to watch out for just based on the draft tonight. While we head back to the desk here, if you got any final thoughts, now is your time before we head to a short break before we get into the P4 draft.
I don't know. I mean, it was a successful draft. I feel like a lot of high players went where high players should go. But that's that was just a little appetizer to what we got coming up next, Cubics. I'm so ready for this P4 draft. This one gonna be, I mean, it's just the best leagues. It's the best competition. It's more players, more picks, more teams. It's just gonna be so much more entertaining, and I can't wait to get this thing underway.
And we will in just a little bit. We're going to take 5 here in the studio, and we will be right back with the P4 draft after the short break. Don't go anywhere.
to start winning the game, but Bravo hitting an absolutely disgusting angle. This is Bravo the shooter, apparently. This is Bravo's series, because this man has scored 5 goals.
Dunvoice trying his best to get a hat trick of one of those in the series. Oh, God! Stop it!
Maybe it's low, you and me. We could stay out till the sun goes out. Maybe it's low.
Hello, and welcome back to this draft night. We got the P4 draft coming up here in just a moment. Now, this should be a very fun one. Once again, I am here joined by Flip on the desk. And this is going to be a big draft for us too. But we were talking a little bit before, and I think you got a question here for chat.
Yeah, you know, chat. I got 56 people in here, and I need some information. I need to know what I should order on DoorDash for dinner tonight. I'm really hungry, and I can't drive my car, so I need some recommendations. Please and thank you. Yeah, that's all.
So yes, leave those DoorDash recommendations for Flip in the chat. Man is hungry. The man
Taco
needs
Bell?
some food.
Taking notes.
So here we go. We got the board all ready to go for the P4 draft. I think we are going to get started in just a moment here. The clock on my end is already started, but I think that's because it is a user side thing.
Yeah. Let me go check P4 draft. You know, I'm kind of in charge of, like, you know, making all the going through all the picks. And let me tell you, Cubics, we are about 4 picks behind because these players have already gone off the board so quickly. So I'm just gonna, you know, put these all in here real quick. 1 second.
Okay. Well, so we have a bunch of picks that are already in.
There you go.
Oh,
We're all
that
set.
okay. Lumberjack's first pick of Pai Choi, a very interesting one for AA here. In chatting with Dan before, I have a little bit of the inside scoop on that first pick. It was between Pai Choi and Brudder, both AA picks for Dan and the Lumberjacks at that number 1 spot, deciding on Pai Choi, who is, I believe, a little bit lower in the MMR category, saving just a little bit of a cap space there. But look for Brudder to go off the board fairly soon here. A player known from, I believe, UR. And we'll see if he gets taken sooner rather than later. 3 picks currently on the board here, Flip. Is there anybody else that has made their picks that we should know about here?
Yeah. I mean, we saw. Wow, another player go off the board right here. But we saw the Sharks make. They had the top. They had 2 of the top 3 picks. They had the 2 and the 3, and they made their picks, getting. Brody for AAA with a 1650 MMR and Zay, which is a 1581 MMR player. Zay's like very top, like literally 1 MMR below cap for AA. So that's going to be a very important player for them on that AA roster. And now Storm picking up Markey, who is a 1649 for AAA. Very middle of the pack AAA players, which honestly, a lot of the AAA players are one league, in my opinion, that needed more like higher up players was AAA, and I mean, there's just not that many, so very few and far between in AAA, in my opinion. Gonna be you're gonna have to be pretty solid to get like a really good AAA player. Another one's going off the board right here, Cubics, actually. This one is Percussive, who went to literally every single AAA tryout I went to. I went to a good amount of these. And so, Percussive, very active player, very solid player. One of the lowest MMR players. The lowest MMR player in AAA draft, at least. So, these players going off the board quick for AAA, which, for some orgs, not a good thing.
Yeah, we will see. As you said, they're kind of that... if anybody has ever done a fantasy draft for any league or sport, really, you know how in those drafts there's always the question of where should you take a goalie. because it can differ a lot. As another AAA player going off the board here in Recon, so AAA, it seems like people are very high on goalies this time around, relatively, as a bunch of these AAA players going off the board here right away. Cobra's at number 7, and then you're up at number 8. And we know who we want to pick.
Please, Bonk, I might have disfavorable opinions of you sometimes, but please, right now, I need you to clutch up. I love you, Bonk. That was a joke. Bonk, look, he's typing, and this is anxiety. I don't care who I get the rest of the draft, guys. This pick right here matters. This matters so much. This pick got leaked, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and everybody was memeing about it. But please, Bonk, he's taking so long to type. He's taking so long to type.
The anxiety from Flip here is hilarious. I love it. I love seeing this.
Bonk, make your pick! Sorry. He's just not... look, he got a AAA player, so you might see him go AA, which Bonk is a AA player, so he might get a very solid AA player. He might get a single A player, which there are a good amount of.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
There's plenty of single A players.
Thank you for noticing how dumb I am, right? I didn't have the draft board up on stream the whole time, so...
Wow, that one is... Oh, I can notice that one, but I'll go and look at the picks. You guys can see Sharks have the 2 and 3, Cobras have the 6 and 7, Spartans have 2 picks, Spartans and Storm also have 2 picks in the top 16. A lot of teams going all in, and Bonk makes his pick, and Bonk, I love you. Bonk, I love you, and I'm going to pick the best player in all of single A. My boy Gally.
And also the first single A player to come off the board too.
Is that
notably
true?
Here. We've had 4 AAAs and 2 AAs on the board. No single A players taken yet. This is going to be the first one, as you said. It will be Gallium for my Bulls roster, because I am on the Stallions, the single A team for the Bulls. So he will be joining me on the field this season. But for you, he's a player that you know a lot better than myself, and was very high on him this season coming into this draft. So what was your kind of rationale behind scouting him and really wanting him to join me on your single A team?
So I knew Gallium from other leagues, but man, I played with him, and that dude hit. Did I? Oh, Mike, I didn't hit enter. Mike, help me. Mike, I know you're watching the stream. Mike, can you, Mike, I messed up. Hey, Harley, I
you did the thing again, guys. That pick though that you're seeing at number 8 here, that's the number 9 pick for the Pirates is going to be Brudder, a player that was in the number 1 conversation, fell down a little bit here. As scouting goes, but is going to go to the Pirates to help with their AA team.
Mike, fix it. Fix it, Mike. Fix it, Mike.
I don't even have permissions to type in that channel. Come on, man.
It's like, no. So yeah, go ahead and refresh the stream page. It should work. All good. Hopefully. Mike, you messed up. Mike's 47. Mike. I might have to go talk to Mike. I did a very bad thing, and I did not hit draft player. So that is on me.
He done goofed, guys. Make fun of Flip and Gen Chat. Please and thank you, because it's hilarious. Hee hee.
All right, Mike has officially fixed it. Okay. However, Mike, it's showing that the next pick is Admiral, so that's just not true. So I need you to fix that part
The
next.
10th overall pick is just not there,
Yeah,
which is hilarious. It shows on stream still. It does not show on our internal site, which is hilarious. So the Eagles are on the clock, but the Spartans have the 11th pick. They'll be up in just a second here. So a lot of groupings here early on in this first round. We're seeing a lot of teams have a couple of picks. Storm.
Mike, I cannot click on the. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry, Mike. You're making me mad. Cubics, he's telling you to refresh and
refresh the stream.
Refresh again.
I'll refresh again. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
just refresh again. Just keep refreshing until. Hey, look at that! Look at that! It looks so good.
I mean, it was already fixed. Stream was already fixed. It was fine.
No, it wasn't. It said Brudder where it said Gallium again, and I'm about to make this pick, and it's gonna break everything.
Yeah,
I'm
it
afraid.
will.
Oh, it didn't. We're good. All right, Mike is just a genius, and I will never doubt to make
picks are
him.
just delayed on the website. Actually, it might just be me.
No.
Reload.
We got it. We got it. Gallium is a part of the org. Okay, so Gallium to the Bulls. Very mechanical player. He literally has freestyle videos. He's that dude. Brudder actually is a player that I literally tried out for a team for Brudder. That one, he wanted me, but I didn't go to his team. But no, he's a very solid player. So gonna be interesting in Double A. Now Wise One, that's a player I don't know, but he is the second single A player drafted. So a couple more single A players getting drafted now, but this player, Cubics, that just got picked, is a Double A player going to the Warriors.
Going to be Mealy coming off the board here for the Spartans. Their first pick of 2 here. They're going to be picking at 11 and 14. Going back to the point I was making earlier, a lot of teams having a couple of picks in this first round. Sharks at 2 and 3, Cobras at 6 and 7, right next to each other. But Storm also at 2 picks, 4 and 16. Spartans with 11 and 14. The Eagles already picked both of theirs in the first round too, with 5 and 10. So some teams really stacking up in the first round here, and a lot of teams waiting until the second round or later to pick. A couple of those teams have early second round picks. The Ducks going to be picking at 17, the Hawks picking at 19. And I'm seeing if there's any other organizations that haven't picked yet that are coming up, and I do not think so. But those two going to get their first picks in here early in the second round.
Yeah, and this next pick that came off the board, the Kings, they selected Albax, who was the highest MMR player in all of AAA in the draftee pool. So, or at least that was available. So, they just went big on the AAA, whoever they could get. And another team that I know needs a lot of AAA players, Raid here is going to select one, the next highest AAA player. But the next one, next up is Boy Wonder, who's a player that I do know. So if you're a GM, Boy Wonder's a very solid AAA player for sure. But a lot of AAA players off the board already. Cubics, I'm pretty sure AAA and AA, only 2 A's so far. So we're getting so many of them. And Cubics, that's good news for us.
That is good news for us. I'm not necessarily a secret based, even if you look at the website and the rosters for Bulls org, that we are in need of a lot of single A players. So that is great news for us, because we don't have another pick until 23, which is halfway through the second round. Yeah, at least by
I had no idea.
The list. So yeah, we got 23, and then we don't pick again until 46. So quite a while in between picks for us, but hopefully we can get a nice roster made there. But yeah, those first 2 picks I think are going to be important for at least me, depending on if you allow me to use those for my squad.
Yeah.
Spartans going with Venture here, a AA player at number 14. Ascension on the clock for the first time tonight. Now, a couple AA players going to the Spartans here. Clearly in need of a couple of those players.
Ascension, though, they're going with a single A player. And, that's a very solid one as well. Nibs, very good single A player. I'm pretty sure I've seen him play. Hold on, let me just double check this real quick. Yeah, I have seen him play before, and he's very good. One of the second highest single A player remaining. But there's still about 20 single A players on the board. Only about 7 AA players. But there's still about 9 or 10 AAA players on there. So plenty of variety for teams to still go with. So Cubics coming up, like, this is pretty much the end of the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
This is exactly the end of the first round.
Yeah, so first round full of AA and AAA players. So we will see if you know, maybe the single A players start coming up here in round 2.
Yeah, actually four single A players still taken in this first round.
You're right.
Make it 5 with 0 coming off the board here as we start to see the single A players fall. 1467 Zero's contract here going to the Storm to try and help their single A affiliate, which is, let me rack my brain. Single A, there is
Tempest. Yep, that's the one.
Tempest. Yeah, that. I had Lightning in my head, and I couldn't go down a level. So anyway, I will start to know these affiliations a lot better this season, as this will actually be my first season playing in P4, so that's fun. As
Welcome
the
aboard.
Ducks select Leshot with their 17th overall pick, a AA player once again coming off the board here.
Great name.
Are you aware of what league had like the most draftees out of the 3?
I'm not, but I can count them all if you really want me to. I can count them all.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
it looks like at this point A has quite
so
a few
many
left
so-
here. Yeah.
Yeah. 2. I'm gonna count for a second. You just keep sucking. Keep running that pretty little mouth of yours. All right, I'm pretty sure it's single A. Oh, my bad. Can I not say that one? That's on me.
Don't say that.
That's on me. My fault.
Oh, you're good. But yeah, at 19, Hawks going to be selecting their first player now as Wolfie, a very high single A player coming off the board. That's why all of my graphics on the website got messed up as I was pinning a couple of players that I have my eye on. So we will see who the Hawks select here. This will be the first time that they are selecting in the draft, the first time of 2 in the second round. I think the only other org that is going to be adding to the roster of players selected is going to be the Whitecaps selecting at 27. Actually, did the Kings use their first round pick, right?
The Kings did, yeah.
Kings
a couple
18,
orgs,
yeah. So
yeah.
Kings
A couple
actually,
orgs
that was
like
their first.
aren't. A couple orgs don't even have picks. Like the Flames don't have a pick.
Yeah, I know the Flames. The Flames decided before both drafts tonight that they also were not making any selections. They were set on all of their P4 and independent teams. So one org that you will not see at all tonight.
Yeah, which is kind of sad because I mean, last time he was in a draft, which was major. You know, some great things went down, Cubix. I'm sorry, I had
First
to.
overall pick.
Yeah, you know, he had, you know, very solid team. Honestly, one of the best teams in all of major. And it's, you know, I'm not sure how well, you know, some of his teams are going to be doing this season, but last season every single team of his made playoffs. So well done to him. First off, second off, you know, it's going to be a very interesting season for him, but not in the draft. This time though, we're going to get Wet Beef. What a name.
Yes.
He's
that I know one of the names that you were looking at and was like, I love that name.
That's
before
a
the
solid
draft as well.
Solid name.
Also, notably, Boy Wonder drafted by the Hawks. Actually, a player that their current GM, Marina, wanted to have as an AGM or possibly GM that organization prior to the season starting. So now he's officially within their org. So we will see where that goes. So could be seeing a future AGM getting drafted at 19 right there. But Wet Beef going to the Eagles. I love that. What a name.
Yeah, what a player.
We will keep saying that over and over tonight during the draft because it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Number 21 now, Cobra's on the board, by the way. Go ahead. Flip.
Yeah. Wet Beef, I mean, he's a player. Okay, I went to a lot of AA tryouts that I didn't host. I did not host a single one, but I went to a good amount of them. I played in a couple just, you know, really to boost my ego. But man, Wet Beef was a very solid player. Yeah, of course. And I didn't lose a game, by the way. Anyway, Wet Beef, very solid player. And honestly, super, like, not, I mean, he can, like, hit a flip reset and, you know, do the cool shenanigans. But super solid. And that's kind of what you need in AA. You get a consistent player that can hit ball hard on target, you know, that's a recipe for success. And honestly, I think the Falcons? They might be looking for another chip. They had one 2 seasons ago, so they're looking to go back. Web beef might be the driving force for that one. But now, you know, we're moving on. It should be the Cobra's pick. If Mike could, you know, just get us going a little bit quicker, it'd be real nice, Mike. I know I make a lot of mistakes, but man, watch how much better. But you know, Cubics, enough about that. We have 8 players left in AAA. We only have 9 players left in AA, and we have about 20 left in Single A. So there are so many Single A players available. And you know, I think at this point, if I'm a GM that needs, you know, that maybe I don't need a Single A player, but if I have a pick, I'm picking a high AAA player or a really high AA player, and then making somebody trade me, because that's one way you use your draft capital. You know, you take players that other people want. Like earlier in the stream, I mentioned Boy Wonder was the highest MMR player left in AAA, and I knew that Marina wanted him, so I said, hey, anybody take him, please. It would have been great value for him, but you know, local got who he wanted, and that's what matters. So that player, that's a very meme squad in AAA, which is going to be very interesting. But this time, the Pythons select, or sorry, the Cobras select Roger RL, who is a Single A player. So now the Single A players might start coming off the board a little bit quicker.
Yeah, one of the players I was actually looking at for that next pick at 23 for us on the Bulls. So unfortunately, he won't be coming to the Stallions. But Rattler's getting a very good player here. Fresh, Show, and False Facts picking up a third member here. Well under the cap as well if they decide to make any changes to their roster. But realistically, that is a very good roster, especially with Fresh on Season 3 of 3. He's currently listed at 1404, while his actual peak MMR is 1461. Thank you, Incentive, as they're going to be able to stack that. And very, very well done to them. Spartans are on with a AAA player, Mocha, going to them. Going to be playing for the Trojans on that org. I'm still terrible with affiliations. I apologize. You did good.
All right, but now it's our turn.
Now it's our turn. We're doing the thing. We're doing the thing. I think we know who we're taking too.
I know who I'm taking. You know who I'm taking. I'm taking whoever you want, and that's who we're getting here. We're getting Paranoid Monk, who did. I mean, I only saw like 1 or 2 of your tryouts, but that dude looked very like a good shot, you know. And
oh yeah,
I mean, that's really all I can say about him. Like, he's a good shooter, and sometimes that's all you need to go to win games. You just need somebody that can hit the back of the net, and that's what that man can do. You probably know more than I do, but that right there was a very solid player.
Absolutely, very, very much looking forward to playing with this squad now. Rounded out Gallium, Paranoid Monk, myself, and Draco on the Stallions. Very happy with that. Ascension now on the clock after the Lumberjacks taking another AAA player. It is Cryo with the 24th overall pick. Ascension now on the clock. Excuse me. Ascension taking Quadar. Not exactly sure what league he is in. I'm just reading off of the Single A player. There you go. Thank you. Reading off of our Discord chat, the Discord stream. If you do want to tune in and watch the picks, oh, I got a hair in my face. Be made live. I'm going to try and get it out of my eye. There you go. If you want to watch and be live, there is the Independent Draft text channel in RLPC that you can go and watch as well if you want to see the picks as they come in officially. But we do have fancy graphics and people talking over it here on the stream, so we'd appreciate it if you stuck with us here. And thank you to everybody who has tuned into our coverage of the draft tonight. Hawks back on the clock here with 26, and then the Whitecaps will make their mark on the draft for the first time at number 27. They don't have another pick for a very, very long time, so this is going to be an important one for them going forward here. After those two, as you can see, Kings and then the Ducks have a pair before the Lumberjacks and Ascension will round out our second round here. 45 seconds left for the Hawks to get their pick in. And now that we've seen our top 25 flip, I know you're busy behind the scenes working with the sheets and all associated things, but is there a pick other than ours? Because I like to think we did pretty well. That stands out to you.
So if I'm just, looking at the little drafty boardy, Brother, getting him at 8, getting him at 9. I messed that one up. I forgot. Getting Brother at 9 for the Pirates. Going to be a very, very strong AA player for sure. Kind of the only AA player that I was like, that guy should or could be AAA for sure. Going to be very, very talented. Oh, I'm sneezing. Excuse me. Anyway. Other than that, Boy Wonder at 19, I feel like he could definitely be a top 10 pick. As a AAA player in general. But, those are kind of like the biggest names in my opinion. Well, Ryotical tried to draft Galleon, but that's not happening, Ryotical. I already got him.
This will drastically affect fishing season.
It does, because now they're moved to the back towards the end of the round. Their pick gets skipped. I need to type that in.
Is it actually that they get skipped?
It just gets moved to the end of the round. I'm not sure how we do that one. Mike,
unfortunately,
do I skip it?
I think you just say skipped, yeah. And they actually drafted a player. Louis Saka going up at 27 to the Whitecaps. That's the player that they are making their mark with. Going to be a AA draftee here. Flip.
Yeah. I can't skip it. It's Mike. It's not my fault. Mike, this is not my fault. I cannot. Mike, it's not working. Mike, the thing is not working. Mike, I need you in here. I'm dragging Mike. And
I'm just waiting for the
notification. You might want to deafen. Mike, this is not my fault.
It is.
Mike. Wait.
Well, they have their little argument. You can watch Flip's face the whole time. Whitecaps at 27 have selected Louis Saka, a AA player. Let me get that MMR for you. 1531, one of the second highest AA player left on the board that he will join on the, I believe, Avalanche, although I'm probably wrong about that. Actually, no, Avalanche is AAA, isn't it? Who's Whitecaps AA? Spelled it wrong too. There we go. No, it is Avalanche. I'm just a silly guy. Dorfin and TMDT are on that squad. 3180 in cap space for 2 players. So this one, just about splitting the difference. As 1531 is there. I think I'm now in the clear to undeafen your welcome, Flip. There you go. Hardpoint being taken. Oh, my website is all kinds of messed up. Hardpoint being taken at number 28. AAA player.
Cubics, you might want to refresh.
Yeah, I'm gonna refresh the board. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
But
now it's stuck. Now it's stuck on the first round.
I think Mike might be able to change that. Mike,
yeah, I think he'll be able to do it in the background.
Chop.
Anyway, it'll fix itself. Well, you'll see it eventually. The Ducks are now on the clock. They have back-to-back picks here at 29 and 30. Lumberjacks have 31 and 33, split by Ascension, who at 32 will end the second round of the draft before we get into round number 3.
Yeah, it's now we're getting to, a little bit, I wouldn't say less known players, but these are probably the players that maybe didn't show up, maybe maybe we're just kind of drafting just to draft at this point. I feel like there's a couple players I personally recognize or that I've seen at other tryouts, so I'm surprised some of these players haven't been taken yet. But right now it's Ducks picking Moshi for single A, 1455 MMR. Pretty high for single A. But a lot of these guys, like I said, we might just be drafting just to get some draft picks going right now.
The Ducks at 29 and 30 taking Moshi, a single A player, and Bamboo, a triple A player, respectively. Lumberjacks now on the clock. They also have their pick in. They're going to take, I'm going to say Press. With the 31st pick. 31st pick. I can words, I promise. Ascension now on the clock to end our second round. Lumberjacks will be selecting first overall. They are going to skip. Is that correct, Flip?
They did skip. I did not misinput that one.
There you go. And now Lumberjacks back up. So they actually do get back-to-back picks here. And yes, I did refresh, but I can refresh again.
When is the website getting updated? The website should be updated like immediately after the draft, I'm pretty sure. Or like
yeah, it should be right after the draft is completed.
Yeah.
Should seem us to go through and make sure that everything is all good. Ascension is looking to exit the draft and officially skip all of their picks. They have 37, 51, 58, and 60. So one coming up in just a few picks that will also be skipped over if they do officially exit the draft. Thank you, Mike, for taking the time to try and fix our graphics up here.
I know I'm causing Mike so much headaches, and I love it.
But yes,
Mike's...
the first 2 rounds are now done, so you can actually skip all the way just to the 3rd round, Mike, if you're listening. Because Lumberjacks are going to be on the clock to start that one.
Yep. But, as we wait, go ahead and, just, Cubics, how you been, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm glad that we got who we did in the draft so far, at least for my team. I don't know, I actually haven't talked to you about the other teams and how you intend to fill those other teams out, the AAA and single A, although I think you have quite a few players for both teams at the moment.
For AAA, I'm definitely looking at drafting a player, hopefully, maybe, potentially.
If they're still available.
if there's a single AAA player that can fit my cap, please, anybody. But they'd probably be sub. Okay, now try to refresh Cubics, and hopefully Mike is the GOAT in fixing it. But if not, we might just have to roll with it, and we can do what we have to do.
Refresh one more time, but no, it's not.
Did it move? Oh,
the website graphic is not. It's stuck on the first round, unfortunately. So they might just have to live how it is, unfortunately. Lumberjacks are going to be on the clock. Their clock has not started yet, so the one at the bottom is not quite accurate.
All right, I am currently ordering on DoorDash, so just give me a second, Cubics.
Did you take any recommendations from chat?
Yeah, they were giving me some very basic answers like Chick-fil-A.
Oh man.
Oh, wait. I think Mike's doing something. I think Mike's cooking.
Oh, yes. The Hawks are on the clock. Their pick earlier on was skipped and moved to the end of the round. They're going to take Lumi. Or no, they're going to take... no, Lumi's an FA.
That is Oinko, and Oinko has been in this league
for a
longer
while,
than I have.
I love how Mike actually just he's got so much going on that Radical actually snuck it by him. That's funny. The Hawks are electing to leave the draft, so their pick will officially be skipped now. Lumberjacks at 33 now. They are on the clock and will get to pick. They are going to take Panda who is a single A player, I believe.
No, that is a AAA player that I
AAA?
kind of wanted as my sub. I'm not gonna lie. That was he's a
1607.
dude. Yeah, he's a dude that like really good for his MMR. I've seen him play one time, you know, in the past, maybe something somehow. It's
Actually,
definitely...
you know what? Let me see what I can do. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the.
It's moved, Cubics. On my screen, it is moved to the second round. I don't know about you.
Mine is not. No, at least the stream overlay is not moving.
You refreshed it, so now it's back. But I'm behind. I'm watching the stream, so I'm behind. But I mean, hey, we'll do whatever you have to do. I trust you. But you know, while that happens, while you cook and do what you need to do, I'll go ahead and mess up some more draft picks over here.
There we go. Now it's in the second round.
The Ducks.
And now it may be on the third round. Drum roll, maybe. Fingers crossed. Anyway, you guys can see exactly the layout of the second round here on the board. I'll read through it one more time here. 17, LaShot. 18, Wolfie. 19, Boy Wonder. 20, Wet Beef. 21, Roger RL. 22, Mocha. 23, Paranoid Monk. 24, Cryo. 25, Quadar. 26, skipped by the Hawks. Louis Saka going to the Whitecaps at 27. King selecting Hardpoint at 28. 29, Moshi to the Ducks. Bamboo also going to the Ducks at 30. Express going to the Lumberjacks at 31. The Ascension leaving the draft after their pick of Quadar at 25, so their 32nd pick is skipped. And now we are on to the Lumberjacks at 33, selecting Panda. Ducks selecting Chapped. 1408 MMR, a single A player at number 34. Though we might need a little bit of help to get that the board moved to now the third round because it's not doing it automatically.
All right. Well, Mike is telling me to wait, and then he might have you refresh it. Mike is
that
cooking.
is definitely fine. We can talk. We can talk even more. Now that the whole second round is over, I know I asked you earlier about your best picks. You mentioned Brother at 9. You mentioned number 19, Boy Wonder. But since then, from pick 20 of Wet Beef onwards, is there any pick that stands out to you?
Not really, but you should go ahead and pick refresh. Actually, yeah, one that I saw was Hardpoint. Hardpoint is a very and Louis Saka. I did not notice Louis Saka, but yeah, Louis Saka, very good player. Honestly, kind of flying under the radar. I know he's in other leagues and pretty active there, but it was kind of a surprise to I didn't even know that he was like in the draft. Like, he didn't show up to any tryouts that I knew of, but he's a very good player. But a Hardpoint as well. Honestly, if he was in AA, he'd be the best player in AA. But he's barely hit AAA, so he would be a solid sub, and I kind of wanted him as a sub, as well as Panda, one of those two. But instead, they get taken from me. So those guys, they have some very good talent on their hands, and honestly, I think both those players can improve a good amount as well. So we will we'll see how things progress later on in the season, but those are a couple of players that I think, you know, can make an impact. Maybe not be the MVP, but definitely give you a very solid roster.
Draft board is backing up in action. As you can see, number 35 going to the Sharks is I'm Game Time. A single A player, 1450 MMR at number 35 being taken off the board. There you go.
Ooh, I know everything. I can't even know he suggested this, but I'm in some Wingstop. There we go.
Ooh, that is a good choice. One just opened up downtown where I live, which is nice. I think it might be the first Wingstop in my city, so that's nice. Haven't been yet, but I should go at some point to try it out. Ducks on the clock at number 36. That's enough unsponsored Wingstop content.
Mm-hmm.
Ducks up next. 37 would be Ascension as shown, but that one will be skipped when we get there as they have exited the draft. Lumberjacks with a couple in a row before the Panthers get their hands on another pick. That one also most likely going to be a AAA player. I'm just going to warn you right now, Flip. As Busy, a AAA player going to the Ducks. Ascension, who have exited the draft, are going to be skipping at 37. Lumberjacks getting back-to-back picks after that.
Yeah, we got a pick coming through now though. Busy, who is a AAA player that showed up to a good amount of tryouts, and that is a a very solid player. Kind of low on the AAA level, or like MMR wise, but that leaves only 2 players left in all the AAA to get drafted. So Cubics, we still got 8 AA players remaining, and we still have 9 single A players remaining. So there are a couple AA players that I would take if I didn't have a AA team that would like almost kill me if I took a player that they didn't like. So I'm not going to be doing that. So
Did they
hopefully
even give you a short list of draftees? That...
Oh, Cubics, I don't know if you know who's on my team, but my team.
Oh well, I mean, I know a little bit.
Yeah, my team don't care, But I'm gonna try to.
Oh, that is a
get
very
player that they
interesting
like.
team, isn't it?
Oh, did I not skip? Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. All right, look, Mike, look. I just put in Lumberjacks. It doesn't matter. Mike, come on.
He's just a silly, goofy guy.
It's-
Chegg
let's-
actually going at 38 to the Lumberjacks here.
Ah.
And now he's fixed it, and now I have to refresh again and hope it doesn't break on me again. And it did.
No,
Who would have thought?
Gosh dang it, Flip! You're so bad at this.
Just a little bit. We're back to round 3. Thank you very much, Mike. Chegg, as you can see, going 38 to the Lumberjacks. 14-13 MMR in single A. They do have another pick and are back on the board here. They're going to go with GPAC at number 39. And Stambo going to the Panthers, who is the last AAA player available. So number 40, we see all the AAA players gone.
Yep, there it goes.
So,
okay, in my opinion, AAA is going to be the most dead league this season, which kind of sucks because that's where I am, and I'm going to try to stir as many or ruffle as many feathers as I can. But these guys, this AAA kind of dead. So I'm surprised seeing AAA players be the first ones off the board. To be honest, I thought like single A and double A have been a lot more active, and a couple of these players that I still know players on on these teams or on these boards. So I'm shocked the fact that these guys are still available in the first place. So hopefully we can get some good players are out of the draft. Flip, that means they skipped their pick. Thank you, Mike, because I would not have done that. I'm not gonna lie. All right, Hawks, they skipped their pick, and now we're on to the Spartans, who, hey, they take a player that I know. Oh, Sox is one of the players that I know. Pretty solid. Actually, literally just played a 6-man in another league with him. So that dude, pretty good. I did beat him. That did happen. So definitely not as good as me. But Cubic, sometimes it's just hard to compare. Cubics.
I'm typing super secret draft strategies.
Oh,
okay?
you're typing to me. Oh, hi,
I'm
Cubics.
typing to you, GM
Oh, wow.
of my team.
Yeah, Cubics. I mean, I don't. Oh, I do have a pick coming up. Oh my, see, these are all new experiences for me. I had no idea, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah. So,
as you said,
yeah.
40. Now I can take over. I'm done. The Spartans taking Sox AA at 43. Cobras taking Snail, also AA player, 1504 at number 44. Sharks on the clock, and then us up next at number 46. After that, Hawks with a skipped pick, Sharks at 48, and then Panthers at 49 to round out things. That is the wrong button.
Snail was another player that I've seen at a couple tryouts, maybe like 2, but a couple of the other AA players went to like literally every single one. So AA had so many tryouts that like so many people attended, and honestly, like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm surprised that these guys are still not off the board. However, we will be very or we will be going through these players very quickly, in my opinion. These guys, there's a couple of these teams that have already like opted out of the draft. But like I know who I want, you know who I want. And I don't know, maybe once we get to like we might get to the end of the draft, Cubics, because a couple of these guys, they've completely like dropped out.
Yeah, we might be getting to the end of things here. Sharks taking Ding. I know a single A player, one of the players actually on my kind of internal short list in single A is going to go at 45 right before us at 46. We're going to go with Currency.
Dr. Currency to you.
Currency, that is. At 46, another single A player to add to our large arsenal. Hawks gonna have another skipped pick here at 47. Make sure you input that one this time.
I did that.
The Sharks are back up at 48 to round out round number 3. And I believe that is also our last pick of the day at 46 for Bullsorg.
No, wait, that's so sad. Okay, there's a player. His name's Improv in AA. A pretty solid guy. That I wanted to pick up. Would have been a great meme. So a little sad that was our last pick. I wouldn't have wasted it on you. Dang it. Oh well.
I thought you were more familiar with the draft order. Oh well. It's your fault.
Yeah, no, I'm a bad GM. It's okay. I understand.
Sharks are going to skip their pick as well here. So Sharks out as well. Panthers now on the clock. We'll see if Raid is also out.
Probably not.
Probably not. It's Raid.
I mean, okay, let's see. He has a AA team. He has a single A team. There's no AAA players available. Like, I mean, he might be done.
He might be done. I know their A team is very well established at this point. AA, I think he's gotten everybody he needs in the draft here. I know AAA was their biggest concern, and the Panthers are electing to also leave the draft. I'm not sure how many in total that is, but Ascension are also out. Lions now on the board at 52. Lions, Storm, Lions, Whitecaps going to be up here. Ascension is out. Panthers are out. Ducks not yet out of the draft, although they very well could be when their time comes at number 57.
Hey, look, if one of you guys are, you're wanting to draft, you guys should pick up a player, and then try to trade them. Like, it's just how you do it. It's just the smarter thing to do. Or you can drop them later. It doesn't matter. I would say Jay's a very solid AA player left to be picked up. Infamous Rose, or Infamous Rose. Wow, I can't talk. Pretty solid. I know I've seen them a couple of times. Volcanic as well. But that is, all. Those are all the players I know personally. Also, wait, Improv as well. However, I would love Improv. So, if you guys pick him, I might have to trade for him.
That is unfortunate, but we will see. Lions are indeed on the clock. 35 seconds to go.
Ow, my foot! I stubbed my toe. Well, we have uh all right, sorry guys, we're having private talks, Hughes and I, we're on the same org this season. So last season, we might have been fighting in the booth about who we wanted to win, but this season we're on the same page. We are on the same team,
How the
which
turns table.
honestly, I'm just saying, Cubics, you were rooting for. I remember Game 7 overtime. You were rooting for my Stallions to lose to the goals, which they did.
Oh yeah, and
But,
now I'm on that team. So
now
we'll
you're
see.
on
We'll
that
see.
Stallions
We'll see
team.
if the turns table in my favor this time.
I'm just saying they made playoffs and lost in round 1. Now you're here, which I'm not saying they're gonna lose in round 1, but yeah, with you,
I mean,
it's very possible.
I mean, you know my history, and for those who don't know my history, considering this is the draft, and a lot of people don't know me, I've been to playoffs twice in my 4 years, and I've gotten swept out of the first round both times. So there you go. That's my draft history. I would like to win one playoff game, one game. That's it. Please. Tigers going to be selecting Infamous Rose. I almost did the same thing that you did because you said Infamous.
Yeah.
I almost did the same thing. Infamous Rose going at number 54 as the Storm are now also out of the draft. Brother now going at 55. Just kidding. He went in the first round. So the Whitecaps are going to be skipped here, and I think that means that they are also probably out of the draft. So a lot of teams exiting here. No, simply no from Mike. Ducks are going to be the next one on the board, as Whitecaps pick is probably going to be skipped because of the thing, the bad pick.
Yeah, they still have time. You make a bad pick, you can just pick again. I'm trying to provide some knowledge to these players. I'm trying to get some of these players off the board.
I love how of all of the messages, that last one was the first one that was deleted. For context, he said, "Get this player. I just beat him in ranked." So there you go. This guy. So Whitecaps still technically on the clock here at 55 and are still in the draft. Storm, Ascension, Panthers are all out. I believe Kings are still in. They have the 64th pick. Whitecaps and Ducks. So
are you thinking through the whole draft?
Whitecaps, Ducks, Kings, and then possibly a fifth round, even if we actually end up getting there. I know it's not even logged on the website because we usually don't get there, but technically there are fifth round picks. So
wait, I might have a fifth round pick, Cubics.
You might have a fifth round pick. I don't even know where that would be because we don't usually get there. Depending on if there's still draftees available. Well, there's 8 draftees and there's less than 8 picks that are eligible left in the round. So I guess we're going to round 5. I don't even know if we have the back end set up to do a fifth round, but I mean, hey, who knows?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but we got another player going up the board here. A single A player. Not much to say about some of these guys. These are the I'm not saying the ones that aren't gonna matter that much, but the ones that might get dropped very quickly. But hey, you never know. You never know.
Sometimes being a free agent isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Ducks selecting Kia single A with their 57th pick. Ascension. I swear to God, Flip. Yeah, that.
I don't even see it.
Correct.
I don't even see it.
Ascension do not select Impav. They are out of the draft. That is the Whitecaps pick at 59. Ascension will be skipped again at 60 and then right back to the Ducks. So we'll get that fixed and then I will refresh the page again. And then we will get going. Ducks, excuse me, are back on the clock at number 61. Number 61. And then they will be followed by the Kings at 64 as the Panthers and Storm have both elected to leave the draft.
Mike, it needs to get fixed, Mike. I can't do this, Mike. It needs to get fixed.
This guy.
Mike, I'm sorry.
He did the thing
I'm
again,
bad.
guys. He did the thing
Mike,
again.
Mike, I'm bad at this. This is your fault. You pushed this on me. All right. I'm multitasking. It's not my fault.
Oh, I just realized the music has stopped too. Why is the music stopped?
Don't. Wait.
That's dumb. There we go. We're good.
Don't stop me now. What? Stop me. Wiggle at wiggle.
Use the website.
Yeah, use the website. Use the
It's
website.
very easy. There you go.
Mike,
yeah.
I can't put in this pick. You know what?
For any GMs who are listening to the stream, the GM page on the website has all of the Discord things listed, so you can get them just through there. But Wiggle, a single A player, coming off the board here. Panthers and Storm both out of the draft at 62 and 63. King's going to be drafting at 64, and now Flip, you're going to be able to take your pick of a bunch of double A players or Nixoy at one of your picks if we get there, depending on who is out of the draft in the 5th round, which is not even listed on the website, but it exists. So yeah, I don't even know if Mike actually went through and calculated who gets picks in the 5th round. But
well, I mean, like, you just gotta think it's you know, it's not snake draft, so it's whatever pick you got. I would have the 14th, I believe. I'm really far down there because I mean I just had such a good org last season, you know. So just
yeah. Although I think there may have been 1 or 2 that were picked. Ilons had been picked much earlier.
much
earlier in
earlier.
the draft. But I don't actually see where. Oh my god. Excuse me.
What's Ilons was the 7th overall pick, so pretty early.
Not even close.
Let's see what Phantom's going to go with here. This is the last pick in the 4th round. Normac 2K3 is going to be the selection. And we're here. I mean, like, what's left, you know? Mike, what's next? What do we do now?
Also, gonna bring in good old T-Man from the Thunder for a quick little interview, just because I know it'll annoy you, Lamau. But he has been helping the Ducks org with their picks tonight, and so we are going to have some questions for him about both his org and about the Ducks. So, welcome in, T-Man, to the booth. He's here.
Oh, yeah.
While being a part of the Storm org, you've been drafting all night for the Ducks. How has that been?
So for Indy, it went great. Basically got to pick Ryan Gav, and then his 2 other picks were pretty useless because we were pretty much at the bottom of the barrel at that point. He listed me like 4 other guys who were all like top 10 picks, so pretty useless. So I had to cook. And then for P4, I kind of just been throwing darts at a dartboard because all of his picks got taken.
Oof.
Did you get anybody?
Yeah, I got 2. I got 2 people. I ended up getting him Lashot and Mushi or Moshi, whatever his name is, from Double A and Single A. Man's listed Frog Peak, who's on the Bobcats.
Who's already signed and also not a draftee.
But I made sure to try and pick him so I wouldn't get yelled at, you know. So, yeah, I don't know what he's doing, but I think overall success.
Yeah. How about your Thunder team? Did you guys get any players in the draft?
I think we got Markey. I could be wrong.
No, you did. You're not wrong.
So I think that's who we wanted.
Are you ready to? Are you
I've
ready
been
to
letting
lose to
Storm
Rilo
go.
now?
Oh,
You ready?
I ain't dropping to Rilo. The day I drop to Rilo is the day I go not playing. I leave the league.
Will you do that, Rilo? I know you're watching.
I've been here. I've been in this league for four and like a half, more than that, 4 and like 3/4. So I'll leave the league. If I lose to Rilo, actually, let me take that back. If I get swept by Rilo, I will leave the league.
That's reasonable. You should be able to get a game off of him. Come on.
If I get swept, I will leave the league by
You're getting
Rilo.
swept by Flip.
That's arguably worse. So
No, Rilo's horrible.
Wow, Rilo.
And
we got
also known as Chicken Choker 45.
That
I'm
is
not
true.
losing the Chicken Choker 45.
That's
I
annoying.
need Rilo to be watching this right now.
Also, I'm mad right now because I didn't see the guy named Ducks that I could have picked up in single A for the Ducks.
I know.
I didn't see that because I literally have not done any research because also I was playing in a match, like a league match, while this draft was going on. Because I forgot about it and I told Oki before I figured that out that I could draft for him. If I had time, I could have gone Ducks. Oh my god.
Yeah, Ducks went to the Lions, which is hilarious because
That would've been
Ducks did
fire.
not get Ducks.
That would've been fire.
I think you legally now have to trade for him, but
Well, that's up to Oki. The only reason I'm drafting for him is because I owe him one because I left him for my sweet baby boy Gatman, and since I did, I have to pay him back. But even though I play for him in a bunch of other places, like that's not enough. So,
I mean, you're about to come to the Bulldogs. That's about to happen.
yeah. I mean, if you can make it happen, go for it. That
Yeah,
way
would
I
you
don't have to leave.
would you team with Rilo? Would you team with Rilo?
I guess if I have to. I do
Alright.
have a no trade clause, so I think you're forgetting about that.
Wait, is it a no trade clause to every team?
Yes.
No.
There's a reason I did that because I'm not getting snaked. I am the only one that will allow the snaking. So
That's crazy.
But I mean, if you make him a good offer and I like it, then hey, I'll do it.
this man requested
He isn't-
on TC.
Someone offered him 4 first rounders and he said no. So good luck beating that offer.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know if you looked at my draft capital team, man, but I have about a penny, and that's about it. I have nothing, but that's okay. Meanwhile, have there been any picks? I have not looked. I probably should be looking at this.
Yeah, the 5th round has started. We also don't have the back end to really make the 5th round happen because we never go to the 5th round. But we are today. Flames are on the board apparently at 65, and they will select Nixoy, the last single A player available in the draft. They didn't have any picks before the 5th round, and so out of nowhere, oh wait, hold up, maybe we do have a 5th round. I have refreshed. There you go. But Nixoy going to the Flames, apparently. Frosty being drafted by the Ascension, who are now no longer out of the draft. I suppose because we're in the 5th round. This is just... this is literally unprecedented territory. I've never been in RLPC while we've had a 5th round. I don't think.
No, see, only teams that opted in get a pick, and that is only... it was Flames, then Ascension, and then it's Ascension, and then Kings, and then Ascension and Kings, and Ascension and Kings, and that's about all we have.
Wait,
So,
what about the Ducks?
well, you didn't opt in.
Oh,
you
Wait.
can't opt in. That's so sad for you. I feel bad. So
why can't I opt in?
because Mike put a ping out, and he put a ping out saying we have 5 players left. Whoever wants to stay in the draft, react with the check mark, and well, only 2 people reacted with a check mark, and that was Ascension and Kings. So
Well, I'm trying to opt in right now.
well, you should cry to Mike.
I am
I'm-
crying right now.
He
as
is
we
currently
speak.
crying, Mike.
I've
have
been
been
crying this
crying.
entire draft because I've been looking at the website while I was playing that match, and I was getting very confused. Oh, it looks like he's just telling me to cope.
Oh yeah, no, he's egoing you actually.
There
he
also
won.
aren't any A players left. It's 3 AA players remaining.
Oh wait, did I not click Nixoy?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a double A.
Oh, I did not click. Wait, where's Nixoid? Wait, when was Nixoid drafted?
Nixoy was drafted 65 to the Flames.
I'm annoying the.
Oh,
I'm annoying.
I got
like,
the
really
wrong.
bad.
Oh, well, that's not on me. Okay, it's not. Cubics. Can they even see him up there? Nope, they
No,
can't.
they
So it
can't,
doesn't
no.
matter to me. I might have messed it up again, boys, but that doesn't matter. We did our part.
Mike might ban me from the league.
Oh, you know, I bet Mike is
See-
absolutely pissed at me.
See, I just wanted to opt in. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't opt in.
Looks like Volcanic is going to get taken here.
There's,
Meaning that the last player remaining is going to be Catfish, I believe.
Which-
double A
Yeah.
player, 1507.
that's the person I want.
I think they should give it to Teammate.
Give me Catfish because that's actually who I was gonna draft because I know him.
You do? What can you tell me
Yes.
about? Tell me about
Um,
Catfish.
He was like a 1200 in another league, and he was like a Smurf. So he wasn't a Smurf like Smurf, but he was like, I guess you could call him a sandbagger. Now he's no longer a sandbagger, and he's actually at this right MMR. So
Sounds
good.
like yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was
Catfish.
basically just playing an independent because that's what always happens.
Let's go.
There you go. You got your player. Catfish.
And
Gonna be
the
Mr.
sad thing
Irrelevant
about
in
him,
this draft, technically.
sad thing about him is I'm pretty sure the Ducks do not need any AA players. So he
Is getting dropped immediately.
might get dropped immediately. I am
It
so
did go to
sorry.
Oh, wait a
okay.
minute. Was that pick 69?
Oh,
Because
It
that is
sure was not, sadly.
68. No.
It was 68. But guys, just
that would
to
have been hilarious.
recap the fifth round for you guys. So we had Flames picking Nixoy, the single A player, the last single A player remaining, and then Ascension picked Frosty, Kings picked Volcanic, and then finally the Ducks picked Catfish. So that one is going to round out our P4 draft with 68 picks going through. Not 68 players, but 68 picks. So we went all 5 rounds. Very impressive. I'm surprised to stayed awake this long, to be honest.
Honestly,
I
I didn't
mean-
think we'd make it through all
let's go.
to a 5th round. Usually we get everybody in, especially considering the amount of players that there were. Usually we get everybody in 4, but today apparently not. So we did end up going all the way to a 5th round for the first time in what I can remember in
my history.
RLPC over the last 5 seasons that I remember.
Well,
so
Well, we've had a 7th round before.
Not 8. As long as I've been in RLPC, this is the longest the draft has ever gone.
Oh, Flip.
So hey,
Flip, when did you join?
like season 17.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
a-
you,
I'm-
yeah,
young-
dude. You
Yeah,
should have
new
been
boy.
here in season 15 when we first introduced the auction system. The draft took 4.5 hours.
Oh yeah, I
Oh.
remember that. I remember
Um,
those
it-
good old days. Here, wait,
it
let me
was
put us
hor-
back to the desk.
It was horrible. I actually wanted to cry because I was drafting at that time. That's when I abused the rule where I was able to draft 22 players to my independent org when they had only 2 teams. So that was really fun. I got yelled at, but you know,
Nice.
yeah, it was great.
Well,
I wish
as
we
you
could go
would.
back. Wish we could go back.
Okay. Well, Cubics, T-Man, it's been a pleasure. I mean, I had a great time. I got the players I wanted. I mean, Cubics, I think we walked away pretty successful, if
I
I'm
think
not
so.
mistaken. I mean, we have to. We got Gallium, who is my goat. Gallium's my goat at 8. We got Paranoid Monk, who we definitely wanted in the second round, and then hey, we eventually made another pick too, somehow, some way, and well, I mean that's all she wrote. At least for my org, I think my org did great tonight. I can't complain. I think a lot of orgs got what they wanted. I knew a couple teams still looking to fill out a couple AAA rosters specifically because that league is just so dry right now. But other than that, I mean, honestly, a lot of these teams got filled out tonight. I think now we're gonna start seeing. I mean, preseason's coming up. A lot more scrims are gonna be happening. It's gonna get busy around here, and I'm excited for it.
It will. This is just the start to a wonderful season. We are going to have preseason going to get kicked off in just a very, very short amount of time. I actually don't remember when the first preseason games are. They could be as soon as next week, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Preseason is actually on the 19th.
Which is next
So,
week. So there you
4
go.
days. Watch trip.
Next Tuesday is when preseason starts, so we'll be back. Goodness gracious, we'll be back Monday with our first stream of the season. Doesn't that sound wild, Flip? But thank you all for tuning in to the draft. If anybody is in the chat who has submitted an application to the media team, I'll also shout that out now. We'll be getting back to you tomorrow at some point regarding that. But thank you all for being here. Oh, I also just realized I should check trades and transactions before we hop off for the day. Okay, here we go. We actually do have a trade that has gone down. It's an independent trade. So Galaxy are going to receive the Sockeyes pick of Ollie Chu. The Sockeyes are going to receive Galaxy's Elite, and the Sharks are going to receive a third-round pick. I'm not sure why, but that is part of a three-way deal, apparently, as compensation. So there you go. That's the one pick. FA transactions. Nobody has been just dropped already from the draft. I see Lou typing for the Lions.
Fort got signed. Okay, that's the only big news that happened. Wow, that's crazy. Fury got dropped, who was a major player. Or no, he got signed. Sorry, Fury got signed as a major player. That's that roster. Moss got signed for the Lions, which fills out a pretty decent Tigers roster for Lou. 0x. Wait, I think I know that name. Pretty solid player coming up for Entropy. Those all happened during this draft. So those three signings, or for 2 for AAA, 1 for Major, that's pretty much all that happened in FA transactions during the draft. But hey, it was a very eventful day for sure.
And I'm sure this weekend will be just as eventful too, for a lot of these teams trying to whittle down those rosters. I know it's going to be a interesting time for myself as well. So we will see what the rosters end up being when preseason gets kicked off next Tuesday for most people, but Monday here on stream. Thank you all for tuning in to the draft for one final wrap up. I'm Cubix with Flip. T-Man's also here.
Hi.
Thank you to everybody who also popped in as a GM to give their thoughts on the draft over the course of the last couple of days. And good luck to everybody in Season 20 of RLPC. We will see you Monday for the first stream of preseason. Good night, everyone.
Deuces.